Tom Cronin.
This speech is going to be dedicated to Howard Bell, a brother that we recently lost, a man who I spent all kinds of time on various picket lines with, who passed away. Howard, this is in your memory. May Day is a day to celebrate solidarity and the great traditions of the workers' movement. Having said that, it's important to point out that in the last 10 or 20 years haven't been great ones for working people or unions, not in the United States. We're split into rival federations, our numbers and influence have eroded, and strike activity is at a historic low. Laws give bosses a free hand to intimidate employees and thwart organizing campaigns. The fact a company like Walmart remains unorganized is outrageous. It tells you what employers are getting away with in America. So, liberal president, Democratic majority in both houses, has our time arrived?
Yes!
The Patriot Act still stands. The president says he's committed to sending an additional 30,000 troops to Afghanistan. Plans to construct a missile shield in Eastern Europe continue to go forward. The banks are handed $700 billion tax dollars, which they sit on with no regulations to prevent them from engaging in the same practices that brought the economy to its knees. And now it turns out that the administration has no stomach to investigate torture. So you tell me, if our time arrived, it seems to have gone away rather quickly. Instead of euphoria and relief, we find ourselves in a period that's confusing, difficult and scary, a period that many people compare to the 30s. And that's a valid comparison. Words like crash, panic, and depression are as much about how people feel as they are about numbers. After the stock market crashed in 1929, this country experienced something like a historical anxiety attack. Consumer spending contracted by 10%. By the summer of 1932, 1 out of every 4 workers was jobless. Then something happened. People got tired of getting pushed around. They got sick of watching their friends and neighbors get fired, evicted, or stand in bread lines. And their fear hardened into anger. Between 1928 and 1939, union membership more than doubled. Rank and file militants organized one industry after another and compelled the most notorious open shop employers to negotiate contracts. And while this was going on, the federal government created the National Labor Relations Board, set maximum hours and minimum wage standards, and created the WPA and passed Social Security. In essence, the Roosevelt administration went along for the CIO ride. Today, we ask the Democrats to pass a law, and we sit back and we wait and we wait and we wait. Compare that to what happens in Europe. Right now, for instance, there are employers in America who are totally profitable and still cutting jobs. 1, to keep their dividends up, and 2, because they can get away with it. At Caterpillar, a $51 billion company, management last year announced it was laying off 20,000 people. Its president makes $280,000 per week. Some of those layoffs or at the Caterpillar plant in France. You know what they did in France? Several hundred workers held 4 Caterpillar managers hostage until the police came to rescue them.
Vive la France!
In America, you have a hard time getting members to a meeting on their own contract, yet alone mobilize hundreds for a job action. European workers understand themselves to be a class whose political interests are separate from those opposed to the class that owns and manages. In America, we choose to see ourselves as individuals and consumers until the morning that we're escorted to the door, pink slip in hand. Every other industrial country offers its citizens some form of national health insurance. We offer you fleets, missile shields, and control of Afghanistan. What a con job. Millions can no longer retire, and tens of millions live one medical mishap away from financial catastrophe. None of this is going to change because Democrats control Congress or because the president holds progressive positions on certain policy questions. What counts is whether or not people get organized to take back control of their jobs and their lives. We've been going backward, and we need to move forward, and we have to do that together. That's the message on May Day 2009. Last December, workers in a window factory in Chicago were told on Tuesday that Friday was their last day. No severance, no nothing, blatantly illegal. They occupied the plant and successfully negotiated for 2 months severance and health insurance required under the law. Rank and file Huey Miltons led that action. What that tells me is that there are already a lot of people in this country who feel they have nothing left to lose by taking on the system. Labor will move again. Union membership is up for the first time in years. And as we move, as we gather strength, we need to make it clear to this administration that we have an agenda. Our agenda is not Wall Street's agenda. It's not the Pentagon's agenda. Our agenda is about single-payer health insurance for every person in this country. Yeah. It's about the right to organize and bargain collectively. It's about an end to imperialist wars and pouring trillions down the rat hole of military expenditure. It's about using our country's wealth to ensure a life with dignity and decency for everyone. My friends, we can rely on no one but ourselves to make that agenda a reality. Thank you.
Yes.